Well, guys, I have returned again to talk about a few things because there's been some things that are bugging me lately, and I kind of want to talk about them a little bit. Just to get it off my chest, just to discuss some things, and maybe start some conversations with you guys, because you guys are always fun to talk to in the comments. Most of my audience being metal-based, or at least metal-centric, I will say. Most of the time, my channel traffic, and from what the analytics have seen, a lot of people come here to check out metal drummers, metal music, and whatnot. And generally, most of the time, I talk about things that relate to metal just because it's a fun hobby that I like. I wouldn't say it makes up every part of my life, because that's not how I roll anymore. Maybe when I was in high school, that's how I rolled. But generally, you know, metal's a fun thing for me. I don't make it every aspect of my life, but it's something fun I like to talk about. And, we learned some interesting news a couple weeks ago. I'm sure all of you guys have heard of the band Slayer. About 2 weeks ago or so, they decided to release an announcement saying, hey guys, guess what? We reunited for a couple of shows coming up with Louder Than Life Festival. And we found this out just because Louder Than Life released their poster with their full lineup that they were going to be housing, and people noticed a really familiar looking logo that was right down in the corner. They were like, wait a second, I thought Slayer had retired. And then Slayer put out a video letting everyone know, hey, guess what? We're doing a couple of reunion shows. Just for you guys. And while ultimately a lot of people will see this as fan service, I personally see it as not that. See, this seems to be a pattern that happens a lot, and we see it a lot in the metal community. Bands will break up, and then a couple of years later, they'll get back together for a reunion tour and really play on that nostalgia aspect when it comes to their music and the interaction that it does with their fans. Because I want you guys to think about something. I know a lot of people are going to be jumping on my case being like, whoa, how dare you talk smack about these guys? And I want you guys to just listen to me for a second. Think about all the bands that you've grown up listening to in high school. Say, for example, you grew up listening to Pantera, and you see that, you know, oh, the band broke up at so-and-so time, so I'm never going to be able to see them live. And then all of a sudden you get a notification on your phone, and you're like, oh my gosh, Pantera decided to reunite, so you immediately go over to buy the tickets, and then you realize, wow, those tickets are very expensive. But you don't care because you want to see your favorite band that you've been growing up listening to during high school. That's doing a reunion tour. It's a reunion tour, guys. It's a reunion tour. That's a special moment. So you go, you buy the tickets, you go to the show, and you look at, see, oh, well, maybe I want to get a t-shirt because I want to support the band and I want to have a memory that I went to that show. So you go to get a tour t-shirt, and you're like, wow, a t-shirt is $100? You see where I'm going with this? See, a lot of bands, what they will do is they will decide that they don't want to play music anymore and they will retire. It could be for a multitude of reasons. It could be that they want to pursue other projects. It could be that they want to just not do music anymore. They want to do something different with their normal life. It could be that they just want to go in an entirely different direction. It could be that they want to spend more time with their family. You name the reason, it could be for any one of those. But then a couple years later, all of a sudden you'll hear, hey, that band is reuniting. And whereas their tickets might have cost $20, now they cost $100. And whereas a t-shirt might have cost you $25 to get now, it costs $75 to get now. And while part of that could be blamed with inflation, a lot of it has to do with the fact that there is one word that is on their tour poster. And that word is reunion. See, anytime a famous band puts up the word reunion on a tour poster, that means instantly that they can start upcharging for tickets, upcharging for merchandising, and upcharging all the costs on things. Why? Well, it's a couple of reasons. For one, the main drivers of this aren't necessarily the musicians themselves, but it's the corporate folks that are up at the top of the record label. See, a lot of times they will prompt musicians to try and do a reunion tour or do reunion festivals and whatnot, because ultimately it's a quick cash grab for them. They're going to ultimately play on the fan base's nostalgia aspect and the nostalgia factor that fans get whenever they listen to that music that they listened to when they were younger. And they're going to want to milk that for all that it's worth, because why? It makes them a lot of money. Because when you really like a band, you don't care if the ticket's $200. You're going to buy it so that way you can go see your band that you like and relive that moment. You don't care if the t-shirt is $200 because it was a great night and you want to remember that great night. So you buy the $100 t-shirt and you leave a big tip for the tour manager or whoever's, you know, managing the merch table or whatnot. You buy a beer that's worth $20 for a 24-ounce beer, which, by the way, is absolutely ridiculous. They shouldn't be charging that much for beer at a show. A water bottle costs $6. Hell, if you want to get food there, you get a hot dog, and that's worth like $12 or some sad-looking footlong. But ultimately, this is a move that benefits a lot of people. It not only benefits the musicians somewhat, but it also mostly benefits the people up at the corporate aspect of things. It helps them venue out a whole lot because they get to upcharge a lot of things for a reunion tour. That one little word means that they can all of a sudden gouge prices and therefore gouge out of your pockets. as fans and ultimately use that to make a lot of money. And what's the aspect that they're playing on? Not only just the nostalgia aspect, but also the exclusivity aspect. This is a little scam that I like to call the farewell scam. See, a lot of bands will do these farewell tours and whatnot, basically being like, this is it, this is the end, this is the last tour, and they get to upcharge a lot for that last tour. Why? Because that's the last set of shows that they're doing. They're not going to be playing those shows anymore. In finger quotes. So there's an exclusivity factor to a farewell show. You get your tickets that are a little more expensive. You buy your merch that's a little more expensive. You drink and, eat whatever's at the venue because it's going to be a little more expensive there. Because, hey, this is the last show that they're doing in this area and I'm never going to see them again. So they get to get away with some price gouging. A couple years go by and then all of a sudden, hey, we're doing a reunion tour. A very short run of just a couple of shows and then we're going to go back to our hibernation chambers. Now that brings back our exclusivity factor that we were talking about. See, you never know when they're going to do another reunion tour again and come back to your city. So it is totally worth the $200 ticket to go there and see them and buying the $100 t-shirt. When in reality, everybody could be fairly comfortably paid if they made the ticket $50 and only charged $30 for the t-shirt. There's an exclusivity factor that's brought along for this. So not only are these guys at the corporate record labels playing you on your nostalgia, playing you on the exclusivity, feeling like you're included in this farewell tour, you're included in this reunion tour, all of it ultimately is a scam. We don't know what happens behind closed doors, especially with these record labels. How do we not know? And I know we're getting a little conspiratorial here, but how do we not know that these guys at the record label board are sitting there together going like, hey, XYZ band is really popular. Let's do a farewell tour, wait a couple years, and then do a reunion tour, and we can start charging 5 times as much. But even then, remember that record labels also get royalties, and they get money off of every time you stream a song for an artist that's on that record label. Every time you buy merch, they get a cut of that. Every time you buy an album, they get a cut of that. They get a cut of a lot of money from those musicians' hard work. The thing is, we don't know what they discuss at these boardrooms. And we'll notice that there's a lot of bands that all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, decided, hey guys, we're going to reunite and play again. And it's not necessarily the musicians just running out of money. See, bands like Black Sabbath, Pantera, As I Lay Dying, even the original Misfits, Motley Crue, whom I absolutely hate the guts of. Not the people in the band, but just the music in general is just disgusting to me. Guns N' Roses, and all of them. They've all done reunion tours at one point or another, and farewell tours. And now whenever you want to go to a show, because of the novelty that they've built for themselves, their tickets are extremely expensive, their merch is extremely expensive. You have to basically save up for months and months ahead of time before you can even go to their show. And I honestly do firmly believe personally that a lot of this is the record labels being greedy. What I don't think these guys understand, and what I don't think the bands really understand, they don't have a respect for their fans. And while, as the fans, we're not necessarily entitled to, any special treatment. We're not entitled to music, and we're not entitled to any interaction with the band or anything like that. By no means. We're just fans who are here to support the ride. There needs to be some respect of the fans, because remember, we are putting money into their pockets. At the end of the day, it is a lot like a transaction. When we go and buy a ticket or buy merch at a show, we are giving them money to support them for the goods and services that they're giving us, which comes in the form of entertainment. So with that being said, there needs to be a level of respect from the customer to the salesman and from the salesman to the customer. The two of them need to have a mutual respect for each other in order for things to go smoothly and in order for business to continue and have repeat customers. This is how bands operate, because remember, at the end of the day, a band is a business. So if as a band, I'm not respecting my fans and I'm stepping all over them by doing these little reunion tours and upcharging 5 times as much for a ticket, I'm not really respecting my fans. If anything, I'm taking advantage of them. Now, do the musicians really have that much of a say when it comes to these reunion tours? I don't know. It entirely depends on their contract. Whatever's in their contract shows how much of a say that they have, so it could be possible that they just don't have a lot of say whatsoever. Am I going to jump on, the bandwagon of saying, Gary Holt and Tom Araya and Kerry King and Paul Bostaff, they all just ran out of money, so that's why Slayer's reuniting? No, I'm not going to jump on that train, because I don't know if that's 100% true. It could just be that they all miss playing together. Or it could be that they're out of money and they need to get some quick funds. You never know. But I guess the whole point of this video is just to say, guys, watch out, don't get scammed, because a lot of these record companies and all that, and a lot of these record labels, the one thing they don't do is respect the fans. They see this more as a one-way transaction, and it's most of the time the way they see it is you have money and I want your money, so I'm taking your money, and you don't really get anything back in return. So just be careful and don't get scammed. I'd like to see if my suspicion is confirmed that their ticket prices are going to be absolutely insanely monstrously high, but we shall see. I just wanted to come on here and talk about that for a little bit, just because it's something that I've noticed is a pattern in the metal community, and a lot of times the fans get taken taken advantage of, and we get shafted at the end of the day, and we kind of get I guess you could say gimped into this role of paying absorbent amounts of money, like high amounts of money to go see a band and all that, when in reality we're really getting scammed at the end of the day. And that's just something that personally irritates me. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching this and just watching me talk about this for a little bit. Please be careful going on out there, because the real world is a dangerous place. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and share it with your friends. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys thought of Slayer's whole reunion tour. Do you guys think that this is a cash grab? What's going on? I'd like to start a conversation with y'all. And other than that, guys, that's going to be the end of this video. So thanks for tuning in and stopping by. Check out the other videos I got on my channel. We got a lot of fun stuff coming your way. And with all that being said, y'all, that's the end of this one. So cheers, have a great rest of your night, and God bless.